Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. My name is Kristen Jock with Compass, and on this week's episode I wanted to address what to do about rent during COVID-19. And first I want to start off by some of the legal actions that have been put in place. So in New York State, a moratorium has been put on evictions for a 90-day period, meaning that a landlord can't initiate or carry out an eviction during this time period. What this action doesn't do is excuse any tenant from having to repay that missed rent at a later date, just as any mortgage or building expenses wouldn't be excused for the landlord. Also, not paying rent can open up a bit of a legal Pandora's box. So after the moratorium is lifted, after the 90-day period, by not paying, your landlord could initiate an eviction process against you. However, in New York State presently, from start to finish, the process of evicting a tenant takes roughly a year's time. And finally, no late fees or penalties can be charged for missed rent payments for this 90-day period. So what are my recommendations if you've been affected and are unable to pay your rent? I strongly encourage you to be proactive and to reach out to your landlord as soon as possible. Discuss with your landlord the idea of paying reduced rent, pay what you can, or simply let them know if you'll be unable to make your rental payment. You could also ask your landlord if you could possibly apply your security deposit towards 1 month of rent. You would also want to discuss payment plan options for when you are able to return to work and start to pay back that missed rent. If you're a person who's in a month-to-month scenario, or you have a lease that's coming to expire, I would have that discussion with the landlord about renegotiating the rental amount to a more manageable rental price. And if you've lost your job or your income has been affected from the pandemic, I would encourage you to file unemployment and utilize some of those funds towards paying rent. If you own a small business, there are also programs available on the federal, state, and city level to help keep you afloat and to pay off rent and utilities, as well as any employees that you have working for you. And this comes in the form of both grants and loans. A portion of the loans also might be forgivable, and the portion that's not forgivable has very low interest rates attached to it. Another program available called the One-Shot Deal is an emergency assistance program available to qualifying New Yorkers. That would be a one-time payment that could be put towards paying their rent. And finally, approach your landlord with honesty and solutions. This is a scenario that nobody is excluded from, and it will be solved through cooperation and partnership rather than creating adversaries. So what happens when people stop paying rent? And I've seen accounts that say there could be as many as 40% of renters in New York City who could have trouble making their April payment. This could essentially domino effect onto building owners who could then struggle to pay for water, for sewer charges. They also have what is typically a property owner's biggest expense, being real estate taxes due July 1st. Real estate taxes also generate about 30% of revenue for the city to maintain basic city services. So you could see this trickle down and affect how we get basic services and create essentially a collapse. And some final thoughts. Just that this is a situation that's become painfully obvious to me that everybody's going to lose something. Of course, there are certainly people within our society that are starting out with much less, and we need to all do our part to try to tip the scales and keep everybody afloat, and approach each other with honesty, with integrity, and try to find solutions so that what we end up losing isn't our humanity. I hope that this information is useful. As always, if you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or contact me directly. I hope that you all stay home, stay healthy, and stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.